Welcome to Soul Sisteries.
Well, we just had a fun conversation with ourselves. So Donna and Diana got together just to kind of chat a little bit today. And we want to share kind of our hope through the WTFs of life with y'all.
Hey. Welcome to Soul Sisteries, everyone. Here with my sister Diana. This is Donna. And we're having some days. We're having some stuff, some challenges. We're like, what's the hope right now? And it's like we decided it's hope through WTF. So
Yes.
sis, let's get into it.
Yes. And we're doing something a little bit different this time, right? Instead of, having a guest on the show that we get to interview, I think coming into this new year, it's going to be some time for us to just chat together about kind of life, about what's happening, about hope, and like you said, that WTF, because I think every day we both kind of wake up and have that thought, WTF, and certainly other people I know are feeling that also.
Yeah, and people are like you and I, we're like, let's face it, we are resilient as heck. We keep going, and I don't know what that thing is in us, but we do. I don't know if it's nature or, I mean, it's a lot that we've built up some stuff,
Yeah.
some calluses over time,
Yeah.
and some practices. We do some things, varied things, but I mean, it can be very hard for people to hear, hope through, have hope, just have
Yeah.
hope. And we're never just saying that, right?
Right.
It's not just as simple as the Pollyanna,
No.
everything's okay. It's like right now, in both of our lives, there are a lot of WTF challenges
Yeah.
where we want to stop and go, are you effing kidding me?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm like thinking this whole thing about like, well, when did we develop that? Where did we learn to keep going? And I'm going back to high school. Remember when we graduated, you had to think of your senior quote that went in
Yeah.
the yearbook. And I remember mine was something like, here's a test to tell whether your mission on Earth is finished. If you're alive, it isn't. And I think
Yeah.
that is very much still my motto. Like, I'm here for a reason. There's something I'm supposed to be doing, and this belief that I kind of chose this existence. So I don't have a choice. Like, you just have to I mean, that is the choice, right? I don't have a choice, and you just have to deal with it, and you have to keep going. And
But
and I
but in that, you don't have to, you know what I mean?
right.
Like
I, I have
you
yes,
have the drive to, yeah.
I have the drive. And I don't believe that any of us were put here just to suffer. I don't believe that the universe is cruel and had that intention for any of us. So if there's the craziness happening, the give me a break moments, it's just, I mean, it's a challenge to get through because there is something bigger and better, and there's a purpose for it, I guess.
Yeah, so I think that's the thing, right? As we go through the various challenges that are here, we see again and again the rainbows,
Yeah.
the stuff that comes after and through the storm, and only because of it. I was talking with an old friend of ours yesterday. Ended up, we were going to meet for like an hour for coffee. 5 hours later,
Yes.
I went,
Oh.
whoa! I mean, amazing to have some days off and some time
Yes.
to dig in for those 5 hours. Um, but we were talking about, and now my thought just totally went
Mm.
out of my head. What were we talking about?
That is our life. That staying the course and continuing to kind of move forward despite the challenges.
Yeah, and who knows what it was that I was going to say.
Yeah.
Hey, producer Kurt,
WTF.
maybe we got this big gap of WTF. I
Yeah.
have no idea. I have no
Oh,
idea what
yeah.
the
Oh man.
answer is there. But I think there's this I know I feel the compulsion to keep putting one foot in front of the other.
Mhm.
Um, but I'm not denying the
No.
truth of what's
Mhm.
going on. There are some super real hardcore challenges in my life right now.
Mhm.
Like, and if I tell other people about, they're like, "Oh my God, Donna, oh my God, what?" Like, whoo, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And yet it is. Um, but I think I don't know, I've weathered so much.
Mhm.
And I guess that's where we started talking, that there's always that path. Oh, here we go. Here's the gold. Here's the pot of gold. So I was talking about when Kenny died, when, my
Mhm.
son died 6 years ago, 6.5 years ago.
Mhm.
And I mean, it can't get more WTF than
Mhm.
that, right? There can there's a connection I have with him now. There's a relationship I have with him now. He is living his best life now, and I know there are a whole bunch of people who won't understand what that is.
Right.
I just tell
Mhm.
you that it's true.
Yeah.
He is so good and so happy, not angel wings and on
Right.
low. He is living his
Mhm.
free and full and total
Right.
life. I would not have this connection
Mm-mm.
and this profound and beautiful experience if not for the fact that my son died.
Mhm.
It still and always sucks.
Yeah.
My son died.
Mhm.
It does. It will throughout the
Mhm.
totality of this life. That is a truth. And also, I am profoundly and beautifully and joyfully connected with him
Mhm.
still.
Yeah.
And it's not like, oh, okay, yay for this win. Oh, I win. It's not that.
Mm.
But it is, God, there's some tremendous beauty to be found here.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to say that other than that. Like, that is a truth.
Yeah. Yeah. There's days that I think I would give up everything I know now to go back to how things were, 6 years ago, 6.5 years ago, our journey, we've lost a lot. And, 2019 started with the loss of, our stepfather. And a few months later, your son, my nephew, my godson, and 6 or 7 months after that, my guy. And, um, that's huge. That's huge loss that we lived through at the same time as the world was going through 2020 with COVID and all of that. And there was a lot of despair, and we could have wallowed, and I'll speak for myself. I did have my wallowing. I mean, there was like, if I wanted to scream, I screamed. If I
Yeah.
needed to just sit and cry, and even today, I will let myself scream and cry and
Yeah.
holler and do whatever I need to do. And then kind of, like David would always say, here's a straw, suck it up. Okay, well, it's time to put on my big girl panties and get on with life, because I'm still here. I mean, I still have my children. I still have, even with all this craziness, I mean, there's still just a beautiful world. I'm sitting here in my little retreat looking out at just white fallen snow that's just absolutely gorgeous, and the trees are covered, and I've got my little Christmas wreath out my window, and it's peaceful and beautiful. And that exists at the same time as as the WTF, at the same time as the grief, the sorrow, the anger, the bitterness, all of those things.
And the reality, the everyday things too. You driving down the road and it's icy and snowy,
Yes.
and I can't even see, and how am I going to get home? And the
Hmm.
windshield wiper breaks, and then
Hmm.
you can't get to the store, or mom needs something,
Yes.
or kids need like all of those
Yeah.
things. It's not just, oh, you have this grief and that's your one thing.
Right.
the,
Right.
the car still breaks down.
Yes.
The computer right now won't
Yes.
make the connection it needs to
Yes.
make. I couldn't get my new routers on last
Oh,
night to make this
oh man.
recording, and now I
Oh,
gotta pay the freaking company a couple hundred
yes.
bucks to come out here because their equipment doesn't work.
Yes.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's everything. And I guess that just reminds me of, when people always say, you don't know what's going on in somebody else's life. You get mad at the person in front of you driving too slowly because they're messing up your day, but you don't know what they're dealing with. And I remember after losing Kenny and David, I remember thinking that a lot when I would be out and somebody would upset me for some reason, and I'd have to stop and just say, God, you have no clue what's going on with them. Like, what if they just left the hospital from visiting a loved one? What if they just lost a baby? What if they just
Their
lost their
their
job?
their
Yeah.
child, their teenager is in
Yes.
dire straits and they can't do
Yeah.
anything about it. There's so
Yeah.
many things going on in people's
Yeah.
worlds.
Yeah. And I think we both offer people a lot of grace,
Yeah.
and we don't always give ourselves that same grace, and so I have
What?
right, right. So it's been a work in progress for
Yeah.
me to, you know the other day when I was trying to hold it all together after I found a mouse in the basement. It was dead, thank God it was dead. um and I was trying to re-put up the insulation in the basement, where I used to have a partner who did all of those kind of things for me, right? So
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure those things out and hold things in place and use the staple gun with my arthritic hand that doesn't work so well. And just knowing I can hire somebody to do it, right? But that's ridiculous because this is something that should be easy. And then finally just going, just scream. You're in the basement. I mean, who
Yeah.
cares if everybody hears you upstairs? I mean, I don't even know where the kids were at that point. And so I did. I mean, I just screamed loud and didn't say WTF. I used other words. I yelled at David, and then I laughed hysterically because I pictured him just watching me going like, girl, suck it up. Just do it. And then I did. And I stepped back and I looked at it and I went, okay, my insulation is up. I've got this beautiful pink ribbon holding my insulation up and it looks fine.
And
And
you did it. And
I
that's
did
the
it.
like, okay, even you stayed the course,
Yeah.
you found, and you
Mhm.
did it,
Yeah.
which there's a lot of pride in
Yeah.
that. And like,
Hmm.
what? So that
Yeah.
reminds me. So years ago, man, sis, there's been a lot of crap in this life.
Hmm.
So years ago, literally right after Kenny was born, as you well know, my first husband decided,
Hmm.
adios. I love you, but I love her too. And I'm
Yes.
supposed to be with her.
Yes.
Yeah, great story there, pal.
Yeah.
But
Right. Yeah. Keep
so,
telling it to yourself.
keep
Yes.
telling yourself that story.
Hmm.
So I remember I moved in with you and mom. I
Hmm.
moved back home. I had this baby. I had this new
Hmm.
baby. What was I gonna do? Moved in with you guys. And then mom was moving. You guys were moving.
Hmm.
And so had my baby, had the stuff setting up in this room, and you guys dropped me at the new house where I had my little Kenny and I had his crib, and you were going to get more stuff, and I had to get his crib set up. He needed a nap. There was
Hmm.
nowhere else to put him. And I couldn't make this GD thing. I could
Hmm.
not make it. And I sat there and I cried, and I've got this baby, and I have no husband, and I'm
Hmm.
still postpartum. And I'm
Hmm.
like, it was a whole lot of,
Mm.
but by God, I made that crib.
Mm.
I did it. I did it myself.
Yeah.
Nobody else. I
Yeah.
didn't know how to do crap like that.
Uh-uh.
I figured it
Mm-mm.
out. I put my baby down for a nap. He took a nap, and I still feel that
Mm.
pride that
Mm-hmm.
I felt in that moment,
Mm-hmm.
and I could have just fallen apart, and
Mm-hmm.
I could, just lie here on the floor, kid.
Mm-hmm.
But like that,
Mm-hmm.
but I was going to build that crib,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
even when you decide to do the things, they still don't always work out.
No.
You
No.
know? So it's not like that. Well, if you just stay with it, it'll work out. No,
Yeah.
but something will. Like Ted
Yeah.
Lasso, there's a line in Ted Lasso where he talks about it's all going to work out. It may not work out the way that you hope it will or you
Yeah.
think it will, but it will work out in the way that it's
Yeah.
like supposed to work out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just that acceptance is huge.
Yeah.
But the crib worked out, and I feel freaking
Yeah.
proud of you for that insulation.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny. I of course, Ted Lasso is everything. And
Yeah,
if you
right?
haven't watched Ted Lasso, you got to go watch that now. But, even last summer when I decided, okay, I'm going to make my workbench because you know what? David would have made
Yeah.
anything, I would sit around and go, oh, wouldn't that be nice if we had this on the wall? Or wouldn't a table like this be nice? And he just ran into the garage and whipped something up real quick. And
Yeah.
and so, I did a little bit of planning and it wasn't perfect, but I have a workable workbench in the garage that I'm pretty proud of myself. And it's not, it's a custom workbench, right? It's not what he would make. It's not what I would have if I hired somebody to do it, but I'm like, okay, I'm pretty handy. I can get through these things on my own. Driving home in the snow the other night without a windshield wiper, I figured out how to get home in one piece, luckily.
Amazingly. I'm always and have always been impressed by you. And let me just say
Mm.
that out loud for
Mm.
posterity. I am impressed by your tenacity and your can-do spirit
Mm.
and your figure it out. And you and David definitely had that in common. You were a
Mhm.
shared, like, well, here's a thing. Let's figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
And that you do it still, and you do it, and he's close with you,
Hmm.
but you're doing it. You're finding a way. I'm I'm so impressed by you
Mm.
and proud of you, and
Thanks.
like, wow, that's that's really
Uh,
something. You were always the
yeah.
one too, like, well, I'd like to ice skate. I'll take a class. I'd like to sign. I'll take a class.
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
like you just do. You don't just you don't
Yeah.
think it, you enact it.
Yeah.
That's a big
That's
deal.
I was talking with a friend last night who, but just doing, right? I lost Kenny, lost David, and COVID shut down everything. And I kept thinking, like, okay, when the world opens up, I'm going to start this grief group, right? It'll just be something in my neighborhood. It'll be like, on my front porch, we'll get together and sip iced tea and chat about, loss and grief and anything else. And a few weeks later, when the world was still not opening up, I just started an online group, and a handful of us still have met weekly since 2020. And last night was our meeting, and one of my friends said that very thing. She's like, just laughing. She says, "I just love that you just took ice skating." And it was like, yeah, as an adult, I wanted the difference between David and I were if we said we want to ice skate, he would put on a pair of ice skates and he'd go.
Yeah.
I was, let me look for what kind of ice skate I'm supposed to wear. Let me go take that lesson so I can see where your feet go. And then I'll go and I'll do it.
Well, you
But
are ever the academic, the
yes,
researcher.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah,
am, see, I'm not like David where I'm just going to do it, nor am I the academic, though I was always known for being studious.
yeah,
I'm the, well, I'm gonna try, and somehow I'm gonna channel the information, and I'm too lazy
yeah,
to read all the stuff about what it is I'm supposed
yeah,
to do. But maybe
yeah.
I'll ask somebody who knows, and so I'm somewhere in
Yes. Yeah. And boy, we do have such a group, such a network, right, of people
Yep.
we could reach out to. There's so many days, though, that I want to pick up the phone and call David or Kenny to ask them. Kenny was my math guy. Kenny was like, I mean, I could remember helping Blake in even junior high and like struggling with, oh, what is the equation for this? Like,
Yeah.
let me call Kenny. He'll tell me how to work it through, right? And there's still times where I have that kind of, okay, let's call somebody for help. But we can and we
Hmm.
do. And you know, I guess I don't even know what I was saying with that, but like the fact that you do the things. I mean, like even, hey, no clue on how to do this podcast, but this sounds kind of fun to get together and chat. And even
We
if it's
have
just for
things to
us,
say.
yeah. And if people listen, great. And if they don't, okay, we still get to meet people and we still get to talk. And that's really cool. And then
Yeah.
for you to reach out to, producer Kirk and say, hey, can you give us some tips? Can you tell us what equipment to buy? And
Yeah.
then he said, well, I'll just come aboard with you. And
I know.
that's
Thank
pretty
you,
amazing.
Kirk.
Yeah. And you know that if you build it, they will come. And it's very true. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
true, sis. And the thing, in 12-step recovery, they say don't leave, 5 minutes before your miracle or
Mhm.
whatever it
Yeah.
is. And it's always coming. The payoff
Yes.
is always coming.
Yeah.
The satisfaction is always coming. And there
Mhm.
is satisfaction also, there can be in the struggle. Like
Mhm.
that struggle of that crib, that may seem small, but
Mhm.
man, like I said, I feel it to this day and I feel great pride in my persistence.
Yeah.
And I did this for my kid and I kept showing up.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. And like even speaking of that time, I remember, man, I was in deep grief then. That
Mhm.
was profound grief. That was a death
Mhm.
for me. And
Yeah.
it's not the same at all. I mean, it was massive, but then, once Kenny died, I'm like, oh my God, all the rest was child's play
Right. Mhm.
for that.
Yeah.
Um, but through all that, like I remember consciously thinking, okay, somehow, some way, I have to be present right now. I have to be present for my child
Mhm.
because I don't want years to go by and I have no memory of what the
Yeah.
beginning of his life was.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I, I need to somehow stay present.
Yeah.
And so I fought through the depression and the pain. I mean, I felt it. You were
Mhm.
right
Oh
there,
yeah.
front row seat
Mhm.
for it.
Yeah.
you know. But of course, that's also where Kenny bonded with David and
Mm.
you profoundly and
Mhm.
mom. But you guys became Nanny Daw.
Mhm.
David was Daw, and as everybody should know, Daw is a word for dad
Mhm.
and his places in the world. And David was that profound
Mhm.
connection for him.
And, and had you not had that loss,
Right.
and I mean, and I mean, my loss was not the same as yours, but I certainly remember that because your husband was my brother, you know. I mean,
Hmm.
I absolutely adored him and I
Yeah, he
loved
did us
being
all
with him.
dirty.
Yeah, he did us. Yes,
He did us
yeah.
all dirty.
And also, what a gift his, I'm trying to not use the words I want to use. What a gift his behavior was in that he, I mean, he gifted David and I with Kenny's presence. I mean, we fought over who got off work earliest to pick Kenny up from daycare. We took days off so that we could spend it with Kenny. I mean,
Yeah.
from the time he was, just a couple months old. And um, I mean, what a blessing that was.
We can be real and say, I mean, I can say David was the number one man in
Hmm.
Kenny's life for his
Yeah.
life. And
Yeah.
he has and he
Hmm.
had a new dad who came
Hmm.
into his life, who's very important relationship.
Hmm.
And I'm not diminishing that or
Mm-mm.
negating that, but there
Mm-mm.
was something very profound about
Yeah.
that connection from the very beginning that
Yeah.
Kenny made with you too.
Yeah.
And so even that, sure, you're his aunt and godmother, but you're more than that. He belongs to you
Yeah.
too. He does.
Yeah.
I'm his mom, but I know like I'm not his only mom.
Right,
You
right.
know?
And
Like,
and I know this is a conversation for another day that we will have, but in my life, David had been in my life since I was a kid. We were friends, but we weren't partners.
yeah,
And Kenny came into our lives, right? And David came into, at the same time.
yeah.
David came in
They came in
just before
together
Kenny
and
was
they left
born.
together. Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, David and I
Within
started
months of each other.
dating.
Hmm.
Yeah. Kenny was born 6 months later,
Yep.
and then Kenny died, and David followed him 6 months later,
Yep.
you know? And so,
And isn't there some crazy beauty in
mhm,
that? As like
that's,
perverse as that feels like
yeah,
saying, but there
yeah,
is.
yeah. And my anger and my hurt that David isn't on this earth for me and his kids, there is so much beauty in knowing that they're together and
Yep.
that, I mean, their connection, I mean, it was always there. It was there
Yep.
from day one. And I imagine it was there before that day that we knew they were connected, right?
Yeah. And just for
Yeah.
the record to say, there was no part of David that wanted to leave his children.
Oh,
He loves his children
no,
profoundly. His
no.
heart literally broke
Mm-hmm.
when Kenny died. His heart,
Yeah. Yeah.
there was no coming back from that.
Mm-mm.
So
Mm-mm.
that's just real.
That's real. Yeah. Yeah. And so then that's it, right? That's that, all these WTF moments.
Yeah.
And then but there's this beauty in it. And, um, I guess it's all of it. And, you were talking about like me taking lessons and you figuring things out and us just doing some of the things. I mean, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? I
Yeah.
mean, if we try something, I mean, if I'm looking at this snow going, it'd be fun to go snowshoeing. Maybe I'd hate it, but we did it once in Tahoe, right? So, hey, let's just do it. What's the worst that's going to happen? I mean, unless I, took myself
Just
off a
some
trail and got
bears.
lost. Yeah, yeah, bears, right? That sort of thing. But it's like, yeah, okay, well, then what? I don't know.
But look, even right where you are, and you mentioned a little bit looking at your gorgeous window, but
Mhm,
sis, you did that. You
mhm.
dared to see a new reality for
Yeah,
you and your kids and moved across the freaking country and
yeah,
all that that entailed
yeah,
and found this home in this gorgeous
yeah.
paradise that also is muddy and challenging as well.
Yeah.
It's not just a paradise.
No, it's not.
you
It's
know.
not.
But wow,
Yeah,
wow, and a lot of people in the country, yeah, they're like snow, big deal. I don't know,
right.
for us Southern California girls,
Oh,
that's
it's huge. Yeah, I'm sorry. Like waking up to, 8 or 10 inches of snow yesterday was like, oh, this is like real snow. I mean, this is our let's go to Mammoth or Tahoe for the winter kind
yeah,
of snow, right?
yeah, and you like that feeling and sense the whole Gilmore Girls thing,
Hmm.
like that world. You found it for yourself
Yeah,
and you made it happen.
yeah,
Gosh darn,
yeah,
that is
yeah.
amazing. And
Yeah.
that's what happens with the WTF.
Hmm.
WTF, I'm gonna go dare to dream something new. Because
Yeah.
that it's kind of like, someone very close in my life right now, as you well know, is meeting his full life challenge and
Hmm.
we're coming in at the end of the story.
Yeah.
And, we've had a lot of conversations about you. This is not the life you want,
Mm-mm.
but this is the life you
Life you
have.
have.
So what are you going to do with it?
Hmm.
Like you got to accept this is
Hmm.
it. And the big part of the grief, right? Like with Kenny, it was like just that disbelief. It can't be true. It can't be true.
Mm-mm.
He's going to walk through the door. It's
Hmm.
somehow going to, or then the other crazy hopes, like there's going to be a kid who shows
Yes.
up at my door who's this
Yeah.
child that he had and
Yeah.
like that never knew him.
Yeah.
Like, just all the fantasies. Joan
Yeah.
Didion calls it the year of magical thinking.
Yes.
Relate to that.
Yes.
Um, but hoping that was all, that was the reality. And it isn't
Hmm.
getting into the acceptance finally.
Hmm.
This is. He's not here. That
Yeah. And
physical being will never be
I,
here.
yeah, and it has opened you up to some amazing experiences. I mean,
Yeah.
one, your connection to him and your connection to, just kind of everything that is, right? But also the stories that have come through from his friends, from, people who have included him in their weddings and the tattoos they've gotten and the
Yeah.
birth of their children and, the
Or he
job.
comes to them
Yeah.
in their dreams and they
Yes.
then give me a call because
Yeah.
told them to.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So, I I mean, there's this beauty that on the one hand I go like, yeah, well, who cares? I don't need this beauty. Give me back the life I had, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But then like this beauty that we get to experience that we wouldn't have experienced otherwise. And all, my women's group that I've had for 5 years. And, shout out to Catherine, who I've met with weekly, with the exception of, once or twice, um, that we've been together through all of this. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been able to make that connection. I wouldn't have had a desire to make that connection,
Yeah.
right?
So Catherine's got to be one of our next guests.
Yes.
We keep
Yes.
saying it, but
Yes.
also she's got a story.
She's got a
So
story.
here's the
She's
little teaser, everyone.
Yes.
Want to come back and
Yeah.
listen to Catherine and her story and what she did. She
Yeah.
blows me away. Talk about
Yeah.
hope through.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sis,
Yeah.
the WTFs,
Yeah.
they're always going to be there, right?
Always. Mm-hmm.
And onward.
Yeah.
Onward we go.
Yeah.
Hope through.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. That's it for today. We'd love to hear your hope throughs if you want to share with us. And the WTFs, you've got this too. You've got it. Sending you all lots of love.
Thanks for joining us today on Soul Sisteries.
And thanks for sharing stories with us. We'd love to hear your stories as well and keep the conversation going, absolutely keeping the hope going. So we're really hopeful that you'll connect with our guests as well who have great stories to share. Go ahead and follow them in various social media platforms or live venues, wherever it is that they're performing and sharing what they do.
We would love to have you follow us on all of our social media platforms, subscribe and rate, as that will help us get our message of hope out to others.
Thanks for listening to Soul Sisteries.